Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while now, so we're just gonna get right into it with some questions.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Got some questions here that some people came up with. Let's start with what motivated you to run for city council in Bainbridge, and why now?
What motivated me is because of the monkey farm. That's my true motivation. However, I've been in Bainbridge all of my life. And when I started going to some of these city council meetings and seeing how dismissive the council were to the people that was coming up and expressing their feelings and pouring out their emotions about certain things like increasing taxes and the monkey farm and other things like that, that just made me want to run all the more. So I decided that I'd throw my head into the ring and give it a try.
If elected, what is one specific goal you plan to accomplish in your first year?
The first thing I would like to do is try to eliminate waste. I would like to get in and see what kind of expenditures that we have and see what we can cut and eliminate waste. The second thing, and I know that's not your question, the second thing is definitely the monkey farm. But if it comes up during my first year, and if there's any way that I can prevent that from coming, I would definitely do my very best to try to stop it.
How do you plan to involve residents in your decision making?
Well, my plan is to try to reach out to my constituents in a way where either I email them or if I'm going onto social media to say, hey, this is what's going on. How do you feel about it? If there's a survey or something that I can post and ask them questions about how they feel about certain things, then that's how I plan on reaching out to my constituents. Just let them know this is going on. Give me some feedback. Let me know how you're feeling, before I make any decisions.
We need that really bad.
Yes.
We need that really bad. What sets you apart from past or other candidates for this seat? We know it's only you, but from the past, what sets you apart?
So the one person that's in the seat now, I feel, doesn't voice our concerns enough. I've never heard him speak, to be honest, other than voting yes on everything. So I think with that being said, we need someone to come in and say, look, this isn't just about me. It's just not about my view, even though I was elected. Let me see what the constituents, how they feel about certain things before I go and say and vote. And even if you got people coming in front of you, poured out their hearts about things while they feel they shouldn't vote for a certain thing, then I think you should listen to that person. Don't just go and just vote, yay with everybody, just being a yes man, just so that you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I think you should definitely just listen to your constituents.
What is your stance on the proposed Safe for Human Medicine primate facility in Bainbridge, and why?
I think if you don't already know, a lot of people know that I've been out there with the monkey farm people, as they want to label them, posting and saying, I don't want the monkey farm to come here. And one of the main reasons is because, one, I just don't want it in my neighborhood. Two, because of the pollutants that I feel that they're going to, pollute the environment. And not only that, just the fact that they're going to be torturing animals. Who would want to, live next to something that's going to be torturing animals? Although they say it's for the greater good of the community and for humanity. But I think I've been reading recently where they don't even need to test on primates and things like that. It's becoming illegal, I believe it is. So those are the main reasons why I don't want safer human medicine here.
How do you balance the potential economic benefits with the environmental, health, and community concerns combined? How do you balance that?
Well, for one, I want to make sure that, whatever is coming, whether it's a big manufacturing company, making sure that they follow the rules, making sure that they're environmentalists, whatever the procedures, ACA, whatever in government that's supposed to be putting out things for them to follow. Anything to prevent pollution, to keep our community safe, and just protect our community.
What safeguards would you push for if this facility proceeds to protect water, health, and surrounding communities?
If Safe for Human Medicine, that is, if they come forward, what I want to see is I want to see all of their plans. I want to want them to make them public. Like, what are they going to do for this? If a hurricane comes, how are you going to keep the animals in the enclosures? What are you going to do with all the waste? What are you going to do when for potential diseases? How are you going to keep the employees safe? And I just want to know everything that they're going to have in place and to actually see it in action to make sure that our community is safe.
And since you hit on that, don't you think they should already have those in place and that should have been presented to the officials who are there now?
I do believe that. Those are some of the things that I think they missed. Those are the questions they should have been asking, say, for human medicine. Not only that, they should have been asking, okay, have you ever done this before? And if you have, then tell me about the facilities that you ran before. What happened in those instances. I think by now everybody knows that they had the Beagle plant where they mistreated the animals and things like that. And they're actually being charged with that. And I think anybody in government, if you're being presented with a plan to come into a small community, should ask those questions. How are you going to keep this from happening again?
Many residents feel left out of the loop when decisions are made. How would you ensure transparency and communicate clearly so citizens understand what's happening and why?
Again, one of the ways, like I say, anything that's coming down the pipe that I think should involve citizen involvement, I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna get on social media if that's the only place I know. If I have to send out flyers, any kind of mail postings, anything that's gonna help to bring attention to what's going on to try to get input, from our citizens. And then even at that, when it's time to vote on it, if they come up, and even if they're just not hearing about what's going on, I'm gonna listen. If they feel very strongly as to why this shouldn't be or why this should be, I'm going to listen. And if I feel like if there's only one opposal, then I'm going to invite that person to come in and let's sit down and let's talk about it. But if there's a vote that needs to happen, if the majority of my constituents are saying no, then I'm going to listen. I'm going to vote with the majority of my constituents.
What kind of Bainbridge do you want to help create over the next 4 years?
I want to see Bainbridge grow, but I also wanted to keep that small town feel. I don't want it to grow so big that, the small town people don't have a place here anymore. I feel like they don't have a place here. I want it to be all inclusive. I want that when they bring in programs that everybody's included. It's not just for a particular side of the community. I want to see things come in where, everybody's involved, and just being a big little small little community. I know that's almost impossible now because we all have our gripes about certain things and the way things are being done. But I think that if the council, if the city, even the commissioners, if they all start working more together, I think everybody will start feeling like they're being included.
How should voters hold you accountable if you're elected and don't follow through on your own commitments?
If the voters believe that I didn't follow through or don't follow through, then they should vote me out. Simple as that. If you're not meeting the expectations of the citizens, they have that right. So again, I wouldn't have a problem with them voting me out. I would just probably run again to try so that I can get in and do what I need to do. But at the same time, I wouldn't have a problem if they decided to vote me out.
What would you say to young people or new voters about why local government matters to them?
Some of the things that I think that our young people need to know is that, and they complain a lot about there's nothing here to do, for them. When they leave and go off to college, they don't want to come back because there's nothing for the people in their age range. And I think if they start out young, volunteering, or even if we create a program for the young people to come in and start voicing their concerns and what they want to see in the community for our young people. And I think that if we start incorporating some of those ideas, even by bringing in student government or however you want to do it, and maybe we should even create a little small council for our young people. I think that would be something that they can come to every meeting that we have, and just start encouraging them to voice their concerns and let us know what they want to see in our community. And I think for that reason, if they did that, then that would make them want to come back home, and see the growth and help with the growth in the community. I think that would be the way I would include them and tell them what I think that's beneficial to them.
Why should the people of Bainbridge trust you with this seat?
I live here. I live in a community that I want to represent. The things that I look around and I see, I'm quite sure they see it too. So if there's room for improvement, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to voice my concerns. I'm going to try to make sure that we get it done. For years now, we've been fighting with the railroad track. the CSX people about blocking the railroad track. About when the railroad track was torn up. We have emails now. We was going back and forth, even communicating with Pete Stevens, and he was helpful. Trying to communicate and try to get them to work with us and try to help us out. Things of that nature, trying to keep our community clean, trying to keep growing as far as bringing in development. Right now, there's an idea that we have that we want to see that happens on our side of town. Right now, there's no growth on our side of town. They're talking about bringing in these industrial plants, but so far, all of them have failed. So we don't have anything on that side of town. We don't have any restaurants. New restaurants, that is. We don't have any shopping on that side of town. Again, I think that if they give me the opportunity, then they will see what I can bring to the table. They'll see the improvement all around them.
What do you want citizens to do after watching this interview, whether they support you or not?
I want citizens to vote. I want them to vote regardless of if they're voting for me or the incumbent. Just get out and vote. Exercise your right to vote. The incumbents have become so complacent with people not actually voting and not actually participating, not coming to city council meetings, not coming to county commissioners meeting, not coming to the board of education meeting. We need to, as a community, to get involved. If we don't get involved, things like the monkey farm happen. Things like increased taxes happen because they're spending way too much, and not being good stewards of our taxpayers' dollars. So I just want the community to get involved. Whether you vote for me, whether you vote for the incumbent, just get out and vote.